the time to step up your music performance. And it's today's CI Stage sponsor, The Music Shop.
Manager Chris Moores and Seth Anders, assistant manager, are here to get us started today. Hi, guys. Welcome back.
Hey, thank you. Thank you.
So, lots of kids right now in the full swing of school and music and band. So you've got some great options.
Well, you know, we just got through the beginning band season where we got all the kids their instruments for the first time. And now we're doing something for the people who have been playing for a little bit longer, where you take from their student instrument and you step up to a nicer intermediate or professional model instrument.
Now, I was a trumpet player in high school. I remember this. Some family member had an old trumpet that I started with, and then at one point, Mom and Dad said, all right, you're going to stick with this for longer than 10 minutes. It's time to move you to the next level. So that sounds like what you're doing with people. What are the options, and how do you even get started with something like that?
Well, we have programs where you can take your rental and move it into the step-up model. You come in, you try a few. We're going to have a big sale. What do you think, Seth?
Yeah, in November, we do it every year. There's one we do it at our store in Bloomington. We do it at our store here in Champaign. For a week, we've got some extra rebates. You come in, I'll have more instruments than what you'll have at any other time of the year to try out. So you can come in, try a new flute, try a new trombone, try a new saxophone, something that's really going to help you advance your craft when it comes to music.
Now, typically, is it a rental to start and then you transition them to something they're purchasing, or is it all rentals or some of both?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes to all of it.
Okay.
Really. We have lots of different ways. We try not to have the finances be a huge obstacle, so we work with you however we can get the job done. You can rent the student model and move it to renting the intermediate model, or you can apply the equity to purchasing as well.
Well, let's talk about some of these instruments that you've brought. We'll start behind Seth there with my saxophone.
Well,
so tell me about that.
Department there.
Yep, the one that we have behind me here, this is a Selmer Lavoie. And nice thing about this one, I know it sounds very, it sounds very fancy. It's actually got a copper body. It actually changes the tone just a little bit, especially over your basic student one. There's also some options from silver plate or some black lacquer if you want to do something like that. I have a black lacquer saxophone myself.
See, but how would you know that? Like, looking at that, I'm not going to guess that's copper. That
you can take a look at the color of the body through here. The bell's a standard brass, but the color of the body you can see is that darker metal as opposed to the traditional brass color that you would get.
Now, the trombone you have behind here looks like it's sort of a number of different types of metal.
Yeah,
finishes.
On that one, it's a traditional brass. The bell is what's called rose brass, so it's a mix between copper and the traditional brass. And then you have some nickel on there as well.
And the thing that makes that a step-up instrument as opposed to a student model instrument is it's got the rotor on it. You end up having more tubing. You can play lower. It takes the low instruments from the student model and puts them in a nice medium range, so it's very comfortable. It gives you some different slide options, so it really enhances your overall experience.
Now, the trumpets look identical to each other, other than obviously one being silver, one being the typical brass. Are there other differences?
This is Chris's forte here.
Yeah, we played
as it would be mine too.
Played a little trumpet now and again. Well, we'll have to bring one in for you one of these days.
I'll try it again. I can play great for about 30 seconds.
But yeah, it actually is a little different. It has a larger bore. The inside is bigger, and the student model instrument is built to take a punishment. So it's built just to last through beginners, and then the step up is for sound quality. So it's got a bigger bore, you can get more air through it. It's going to give you a nice, beautiful, round tone quality.
Okay, and then we have a few more behind us here.
Yeah, we've got our flute and our clarinet there. When you go up to a clarinet from your standard student one, you go from a plastic to a wood. Much rounder tone, that traditional woody clarinet sound that you would have. The big difference on the flute, you go from a closed hole instrument to an open hole instrument. You also get a solid silver head joint on almost every one of our step-up instruments, and they're silver plated. It really does make a difference in the sound.
And quickly, how do you know when it's time to step up? Is there a point after so many years or a certain skill level?
Yeah, that's a great question. Oftentimes, the students can work with their directors, maybe a year and a half into the whole experience. Once the embouchures get settled in, the students gets comfortable with playing it. It's one of the biggest leaps in quality you can have during the playing experience, going from that student model to the intermediate. Usually they jump ahead really quick when they do that. But yeah, oftentimes the directors or their private teachers can guide them in that process when the right time is.
Great.
All right. Well, it's always the right time to go check out the Music Shop, especially now when they've got some of the best selection tuition and rebate options available for your next step up instrument.
And coming up, a special performance by Chris and Seth. So we'll have that for you here soon. In the meantime, we'll connect you to all of this at ciLiving.tv.